Hi friends, it's Natalie here, and today in this video I wanted to show you my blessings or lessons devotional because this month I have nearly finished it. In fact, I'm up to my very last entry, and that's really exciting to me because, let's be honest, sometimes I haven't necessarily finished all of my kits. And what I mean by that is not that I haven't read them. Certainly I've read through all of them, but sometimes I haven't necessarily had the time to finish illustrating every single entry. But this month I've taken a bit of a different approach, and I know I've been sharing these pages on my Instagram, so you've seen a lot of these things. But it's really exciting because what I've done is use a very sort of simple approach to actually illustrating the devotional itself rather than necessarily having to go off somewhere else and do separate entries. And so firstly, I just wanted to show you a quick look through how this has come together. What I decided to do was take my inspiration from these flowers on the front, which Stephanie has drawn, and I just think they're the cutest things. And they looked really easy and really approachable to do. So this was like the first page, and I decided that I'd give it a try, and I did like these multicolored flowers down the bottom, and then just thought that they looked super cute, and that I decided to go ahead and do those on every single page. And it's been a really easy way, therefore, of keeping track of where I am in the devotional when I go to open it up again. And I've done some other things consistently as well. So I've been highlighting with my pink big brush pen the parts in the devotional that really stand out to me, and keeping all of the scripture verses and Bible verses highlighted in my yellow big brush pen. I do a little doodled outline here. I've been putting lots of black and white washi tape in, and then lots and lots of these doodled flowers. This flower and this bee is actually from the stamp set for the kit, and that was, to be honest, the only time I actually used the stamps in here, but I've used them in other places, right? And then I've just been doing the doodled flowers on every page. And one of the things that I've really loved doing with this is that it's given me the opportunity to try out different color schemes and simple little ways of doing those flowers. So they're all pretty much consistently the same, but sometimes I've just augmented them slightly for, you know, this one's got little black dots in the middle, and just gives you the opportunity to try out slightly different things on the same theme. Oh, that was the page where I did the mason jars, which was so cute. So that was the other time I used the stamp in here. But otherwise, you can see I've been using lots of letter stickers, this black and white washi tape, and then different ways of doing the doodled flowers. Different colours that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of before. Like, I wouldn't have thought of blue flowers and yellow leaves, but hey, try it out on a page and it looks kind of cool, hey? And then this one as well, lots of yellow and orange flowers. I think this one looks very autumny. So I like that page. And then this one's back to my sort of standard, lots of pinks and greens and blues. They're sort of my favorite go-to colors. And that's my second to last one. So that's taking us up to day 13. And again, different colors like this dark purple and dark red, which is ones that colors that I typically steer clear of, right? And so I'm up to this very last page, so the last devotional, day 14, which is about being a blessing. And this is where the whole thing is sort of coming together. And I've quickly read through this already, and already, you know, highlighted these Bible verses, and I've gone and read them and let them speak to me. And I wanted to highlight some of these words in the devotional. So I like this here. It says, I want to leave you with this. Where would your name appear on all the questions and people we've discussed? So that's referring back through the past entries in the devotional. And And then I'm going to answer these questions, but usually what I do when I've been approaching these pages is that I paint my flowers first, because I've been using a lot of watercolors and that takes a little bit of time to dry, so I often paint them first and then use that drying time to go in and write my answers here. And it also tells me a little bit about what space I've got left over, which I know is a bit of a backwards way of doing it, but I've been shuffling my journaling in amongst the decorations, so to speak. So I wanted to show you how quick and simple and easy those flowers were, and how you don't need to be an artist to do Bible illustrating or Bible journaling. So what I'm using today, I've typically been using, as I say, a lot of watercolors, but in different ways. And today I'm going to be using, these are Clean Color Real Brush Pens by Zig. And I've got them in a few different colors here. And I thought today, for this page, again, trying something a little bit different, I'm going to go for some blues, blue flowers. Might need, it'll end up probably being the same as what I commonly do, but as in similar color schemes, but I'll show you. So what I've got here is my acrylic block, my Illustrated Faith acrylic block. And these are watercolor or water-based pens, right? So I scribble a bit on my acrylic block, and then I use just a water brush, drop in a little bit of water, and then mix this up, and it creates a water paint, right? And I'm going to be painting some flowers down in this corner. Now, it's really easy. So they're just circles, and they don't have to be perfect. They can just be swirly circles. And I want to get some more of these different shades in here as well. Oh, this is a grey. So that's the wrong one, but this is a darker blue, so I definitely want to get that one in there. So creating this different blue. And as you can see, I haven't really cleaned my brush between the different colours, because they are colours that will work together. So I didn't need to sort of wash my brush off in between. Now I wanted to get a really, really dark blue as well, and I'm using some watercolour ink this time around, and same sort of deal, I'm putting some of that onto my acrylic block, squirting some water into it and creating a water paint this way, and going in over these flowers a little bit. So these are all just swirly flowers. When I do, if I've gone from sort of a darker colour and want to go back to the light, then you do sort of need to clean off your brush. So I'm just got a baby wipe here to wipe my brush on, because that's a really simple way. But I am sticking with all of the blues. So lighter blue here for a couple of flowers in here. That's essentially it, right? Like, how super simple is that? But I do want to go back in and pick up a little bit of shading in these swirls. So I'm just, you know, swirly patterns, right? Very easy. And to get a bit of extra colour in, so this colour is like a darker pink, but it will go, it'll work in nicely with those blues and create like a purpley colour, right? Do I want to do them in all? Probably not in all of them. So I'll just clear off my brush again. So there's my flowers, and so that's just laying down the base coat, and then I want to do some leaves. So I will wipe off these blues and pinks. And of course, I'm just going for typical colours. So green. Oops, ignore the phone in the background. And some sort of teal colours. So starting with my lightest one again, and paint some leaves. And I'm okay, so you see how that kind of picked up that colour there? I'm okay with that, because I think that's kind of fun. It'll create this very sort of messy watercolour look at the end, and that's what we're after, right? So that's my lightest colour. Let's go in with some of this darker green colour. But if it's getting a bit too much, so that's getting lots and lots of purple in it, and if you didn't like that, I could just dab it off a bit with my baby white, but I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it. And some of this teal as well. All right, now you've definitely got to wait for that one to dry before you can go in with the next step, which is to create some details. But let's get a little bit more green down here too. Just leave it at that, I think. So cleaning that off, and I just let it air dry, because I find that if you put like a heat gun on it, for example, that it often sort of warps the paper, and I don't really want that. So now's the time where, as I let that dry, I would go in and start writing some of my journaling and sticking those letter stickers down, adding a little bit of washi tape and a tab and stuff up the top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I might just come back when all of this is dry and I'll show you how I finish off those flowers. Okay, so that's it. I've gone ahead and written some notes in for all of these questions. I've mainly this time used, instead of, I've used some letter stickers of course, but I've also used a lot of stickers from this Go and Tell sheet of stickers. And now my watercolours are essentially dry. They're still just a tiny bit damp, but that's okay. I'll work with that. And I'm using my Illustrated Faith pen. I'm using the 0.65 tip, so it's quite thick. And this is really quite simple. When I first started, I looked carefully at these flowers and I studied how they were done, and then kind of essentially copied that to the best of my ability. And now I think I've kind of got the hang of it and do it a little bit in my own style. So I typically just start in the same flower that I started painting at, and just go around the edges. And it doesn't matter, like that went of course way off track, right? But it doesn't matter, because the whole point of these flowers is that they do look not messy, but you know, they're artistic. And I copy the painted outlines and I let that be my guide. So where I've done the kind of swirls, and this looks like it's a swirl in here, then I'll do that as my swirl. But I try not to make them all look like they're going in the same direction and all looking exactly the same. So I do have a look back at some of my other flowers and just compare and see what they're all kind of looking like. So that's really easy. And then the leaves, oh, I missed this one. Sometimes if it looks like there's a bit of spare space in there, go ahead and maybe add some dots. And then if you do something somewhere, then it feels like you kind of need to even it up a little bit. So then perhaps go and do some more dots elsewhere. And then doing the leaves. So using these painted leaves as a guide, but not letting it be like it doesn't dictate to me, right? So I do the outline where I think the leaves should go, and it doesn't matter if the colour doesn't exactly match up with that. Alright, so that is it. And again, might add some dots to some of these leaves. You can do some of these extra swirls where there's some gaps. Like this, and maybe some more dots down here. And that's it, right? So super easy, and it's really given my devotional quite a cohesive look since I've done those same sort of flowers on every page. So how fun and cool is that? So you don't have to be an artist to do Bible journaling, you just need to have some fun. And yes, I have got one last page left to go, so wait for that one on my Instagram, hey? Thanks for joining with me today, guys, and I hope you've been enjoying this Blessings or Lessons devotional as much as I have, and I can't wait now to get stuck into the next one as well. I'll see you later.